So why do you do this? Why do you wrestle?
When people look at me, the first thing they see is what's missing. If I win, having one leg won't be the most important thing about me.
Anthony, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, Vic. How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you. Good to see your smile.
It's a pleasure to speak with you this morning. Thank you for taking the time.
So let's start here. Where do you get that attitude, that bubbly, positive, everything is great attitude? Where does that stem from?
Honestly, it comes from my mom. My mom always taught me from day one to find the positives in everything, to find what I was capable of in my life. Because when I stepped out in the world, when I was born missing my leg, the world just saw me for what I didn't have. They saw me for what I couldn't do. And so that was a constant battle, just internal in my mind of, are they right? Am I less than everyone else? And so coming home, it seemed like my mom was just like my recharge.
What's all this?
Dear Mr. Robles, I'm in the third grade and you're my hero. I wanted to tell you how much I look up to you.
Anthony, the wonderful actor that played your role in the movie. Man, that must have been very difficult to come up with somebody to do that and to do it that well. What role did you play in finding him and helping him along the way?
Well, so really in finding him, I have to give a lot of credit to our director, Billy Goldenberg, who brought him on board. And Jarrell, I was very familiar with his work previous, with When They See Us, with all his other projects. And so I knew him as an actor. But, we met back in 2019 and we were actually met in the weight room. We're just kind of lifting, getting to know each other. And so we've known each other for a bit and we were able to develop this natural friendship with one another. And I think that really helped because Jarrell, he's just so great at his craft. And I think it's very similar to how an athlete becomes great at their craft. It's focusing on those little details, and so for him, without me recognizing it, he was just watching the little details of me as I was going through my regular life. As I was interacting with my friends, as I was in the weight room, as I was getting excited or just feeling down about certain things. And so he captured those moments. And in the wrestling room, in the gym, having to work out with me every single day, he just dedicated himself to it. And I just give him a lot of respect because he was learning a very unique skill set in wrestling, my style. Wrestling alone is difficult to learn a technique, but
Yeah.
it's my style. And, basically do it on one leg and learn how to, forget he had another leg. I can't imagine having to do that. But he captured it extremely well. And he just put in the time every single day.
So that scene where they're showing you running up the mountain, did he do that with crutches?
He did. That was actually a mixture of both of us, running up that peak there. And that was another thing. Jarrell, not only is he getting the, learning my mannerisms and how I'm in person, but, to learn the wrestling scenes on top of learning how to not only walk, but run with the crutches and carry things with crutches.
Yeah.
He was putting in hours a day, just learning how to move, the physical part of me. And so I was extremely impressed with him, just learning how to run on the track, learning how to climb up that peak and run up that peak on those crutches. He told me the whole time, he said, I want to make you proud. And he did that. I could not have been prouder. I could not have asked for anyone better to tell my story in a way to where I can say that's me up there. That's my life. And I'm honored and grateful that he chose to tell my story.
I'm sure you hear from everybody about how motivational you are, inspiring you are. How many different types of wrestlers have entered the sport now because of you?
I'm honored to say I have, and that's been
Yeah.
so amazing because for me, when I started, social media wasn't a big thing. I couldn't Google or YouTube one-legged wrestlers and, videos pop up that I could learn from. So to now have these kids reach out or have, their coaches, bring them to the sport because of my story, it's an honor. And I'm just trying to give back as much as I can just to help them, to give them tips that I learned along the way to help them become successful. I actually had a wrestler, his coach yesterday just texted me out of the blue saying, I have a wrestler who's missing the leg. Can you help me? And I'm excited for that opportunity because for me, I wouldn't be here without the special people who took the time to help me. No one can do it alone. And so to have my mom, to have my coaches there to support me and guide me along the way and just to believe in me, that meant the world. And so to have that opportunity now to give back to this next generation, it's an honor. And for me, it's kind of my way of saying thank you to those special people who helped me to get here today.
Anthony, I know you subbed in and did some of the wrestling roles in the movie. Did you have to get back in shape for that, or are you already in shape? Didn't need to.
So I'm a high school wrestling coach.
Yeah.
I've been on the mat, I'm showing technique, but when they approached me about being, the Jarrell's body double and stunt double, I definitely had to get back into wrestling shape. So I was wrestling on the mat. We went through a boot camp, training hours on the wrestling mat, and also doing conditioning. Swimming in the pool for about 45 minutes a day, getting my laps in. And it was crazy being on set, filming these scenes. We called the choreography, we called it a violent dance, because the wrestling scenes, we had the end game, we knew what was going to happen, but we were bringing 100% intensity to it. And so in between those takes, I felt like I was wrestling a real match. My lungs were burning up, my arms and body was giving out. I was telling myself I can get through this, just like I was as a competitor, but that was special.
I'm not interested.
Listen up. You're gonna have to beat out men who were recruited to be on the Arizona State University wrestling team. You're gonna have to prove everyone wrong just to make the team.
All right, the pride of Denver East High School, Don Cheadle. Congratulations on the movie. I thought it was outstanding. I thought your role was outstanding. How much did you know about wrestling before you took on this role?
I had a cursory knowledge of wrestling, in high school I played soccer. And once I graduated, I really didn't go back into any kind of organized sports. I played basketball a lot, pickup games and of that, but I didn't really know a lot about wrestling. So it was great to have the opportunity to get on the mat and to actually get to wrestle with some of Anthony's coaches. So, to work with them and to really learn a new skill was a great part of this experience.
Listen, we all heard of Anthony Robles when he came up. I did, certainly, being in the sports business, but I did not understand the depth of his story. And it's truly remarkable. It's more than just about a man with one leg. There was many more layers to his story. Were you aware of all these layers?
Not at all. I mean, I had bumped into footage of him on ESPN, because of course it was a huge story when he won everything, because obviously it was an anomaly and he wasn't supposed to have won. So I only knew it from that, but getting the script, learning about him, meeting him, talking to Billy, our director, and meeting Sean, just like you, learning all these different aspects, meeting Judy, his mother. It was just, really fascinating. Much more than just about a guy with one leg, for sure.
Don, how much feedback did you get from the real Anthony Robles in this movie?
Well, Anthony was pretty busy during this movie because he was also Jarrell's double. So he was wrestling a lot and he was his stand-in sometimes, so he was very busy. So I got to pick up a lot just kind of watching him and observing him and seeing his work ethic and his dedication to this story and his determination to get it right, not only get it right, but to be in service of it was, again, just another inspiring thing to witness, and very clearly who Anthony is, soup to nuts. That's really who he is.
My last question, the scene where you're running up the mountain.
Yes.
How did you do that with Jarrell?
Jarrell did it.
You make people believe in something.
Surprised to see you.
Don't be.
When they see you, they don't see someone who's missing a leg. They see someone who is unstoppable.
Jarrell did. I mean, there's obviously cuts and edits, but he was on those crutches and hopping up that mountain. And what was crazy is when it's like, so Anthony, let's do it for the camera block for you. And he's like, Rit! Like Anthony went up the mountain, like no effort. It was crazy. We were like, can you make it look like it's a little harder than that? Yeah, it was crazy to watch. Crazy.
I'm not done yet. I wish you.
You can show them that anything is possible.
Oh my God, is that guy missing a leg?
That's my son. What, you're not gonna cheer?
I used to be angry all the time, but I'm not angry anymore. So what are you?